I think we should also give the credit to the private sector, the way the private sector has shaped up, the way the private sector has contributed to the growth in the last few years is an amazing story. I think we should also celebrate their success, because ultimately that is the success of the country. Individual may own the companies, that's fine. They may have more money than me and you, but ultimately it is the success of the country. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me thank the Business Standard leadership team for inviting me. That's one. It's always a pleasure to, the second reason was it's always a pleasure to come back to Mumbai, which is always rejuvenating compared to Delhi. Delhi is very stifling. So, therefore, I always look for opportunities like this to run away from Delhi. And on serious note, I actually consider it as my duty to spend time with the BFSI community so that actually I know what is happening, and I'll get the pulse of the sector, community, and the government is able to take proactive steps so that the country moves forward. So these are the two selfish reasons why I have come. Third one is, of course, is there. Mr. Bhattacharya and the editorial team all the way came to Delhi to invite me personally. That is also very touching. So I value the interactions, I value the time and the opportunity you have given. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Nagaraju, for being so gracious, and thank you very much. We will really treasure the words that you uttered. Let me get into what I call is a fireside chat, but I will not call it a fireside chat because fireside chat has a connotation of lighting up some fires. I would not do that. I will have a conversation with you instead. And I think we can begin this conversation by essentially seeking your grand overview of how is India's financial sector faring in a world that is facing full of uncertainties. We keep hearing about things, what's happening in the US, the de-dollarization challenge, what is happening to India's financial sector, how is Indian banking sector coping with it. From your vantage point in North Block, no longer North Block, it is actually you are from Jeevandeep, and a related question would be, when are you moving to Kartavya Bhavan? So what is your overall view of the financial sector in this world of flux?
You know, I think we all agree when we assess that we are the India's financial sector is at the pinkest possible period of time in our history. We, public sector banks, I think all of you know, we made last year the highest ever profits, and they also paid the highest ever dividends, including the scheduled commercial banks. We made, scheduled commercial banks also, we made the highest amount of profits. And it's a repetition for all of you because all of you are much more experts than me. Let me tell you this thing. Our provisional coverage ratio, PCR, is actually little more than 94% compared to 14-15 when it was hovering around 48-49%. That shows the strongest health of the financial sector. Our net NPAs is about 0.52. Yeah. I think nobody has heard these numbers. And gross is about 2.2 of the entire. You imagine scheduled commercial banks having at 2.2. When we had double digits some time ago, it was double digits, 10 years ago. Now, lending, see, large number of measures were responsible for this.
That's right.
We should always remember, I have a lot of respect for Business Standard and think the way you deal with the issues also, the seriousness you bring and analytical rigor. One is the government has done large number of measures. That's both legislative measures and procedural changes they made. And also they gave a lot of freedom to the public sector banks to perform. In fact, we have one of the strongest performance by the public sector banks ever in the country now. Either you look at the leadership or the pipeline of the leadership and the performance and the innovations the public sector banks are doing, actually they are actually setting benchmarks for the BFSI sector as a whole.
Yeah.
They are no longer conservative, no longer inhibiting, showing any inhibitions. They are experimenting, innovating, and taking risk. Not that they are not doing. They are actually take a lot of risk in each bank. Now, with this thing, there is a lot of, internationally, there's a lot of thing. Now, I don't want to hazard any guess, but there's a lot of flux and uncertainty. Despite these uncertainties, our economy, we are doing very well. We are the brightest spot for the growth of economies in the world, about 6.5, 6.6. And our external front is very good. We don't face much sharper flow or outflow of the capital. And our institutions, and let me also tell you, the balance sheets of the private sector, again, strongest ever.
Yeah.
I think we should also give the credit to the private sector, the way the private sector has shaped up, the way the private sector has contributed to the growth in the last few years is an amazing story. I think we should also celebrate their success. Because ultimately, that is the success of the country. Individual may own the companies, that's fine. They may have more money than me and you,
Yeah.
but ultimately it is the success of the country. So I don't see much will be negatively impacted by the volatility in the financial world outside the influencing as much. Here and there, a bit of point here and there, but we are stable, we are consistent, because we have a consistent policy approach as well as direction in the country.
That's wonderful. I think, it's a reassuring message that you have given us that it is not just the private sector, but even the public sector, the banking institution, the financial sector is in the pink of its health. And the sense I got from you is that there is something to look forward to in terms of prospects. Now, but then, there are always two sides to the story. And let me draw your attention to the other side of the story. And instead of my hazarding any guesses, let me ask you directly that from your vantage point, what do you see are the key challenges that the Indian banking sector faces at this point in time? In a sense that what is it that the banking sector should be little wary of? What is it that the banking sector should be mindful of? And what banking sector should be focused on in addressing this situation, this evolving scenario? Maybe 2 or 3 challenge areas. And I would not stop you. Please have your coffee, sir, because we took you away from the place. Yeah.
I think 3-4 challenges our public sector interactions, whenever we have interactions, we always discuss, and we are trying to reorient ourselves. 3-4 things are there which are priority for us. One is, of course, ensuring that the current strength and stability should not lead us into complacency in our due diligence, credit analysis, and being focused on the core job of banking. That's the fundamental principle. I always want to ensure the institutions we have built, we have to first preserve it, then only we try to expand. That's the first fundamental principle. The second is the lending, enhanced lending to core sectors. One is agriculture and MSMEs. MSME growth is good, good, but we need to do more. Let me put it this way. We need to do more. Couple of private sector banks are doing very well, in fact, lending more to the MSMEs. And public sector banks, we started, I think, last couple of years, we enhanced. This year, we have enhanced more. And SBI has done, through Mudra loan, I think they have done more than 50,000 crores on the digital lending. So, as you digitize the process for lending, I think we'll be able to provide more lending to the both MSMEs as well as agriculture. So I would be personally will be happy. Of course, the government will be very happy if we are able to prioritize lending to agriculture, MSMEs, and thirdly, which is long-term, educational. Educational loan disbursement to the children is also very low. This is always very important. While parents are very rich, they may finance, but the students also should be encouraged to take loan so that they'll be having their education with responsibility and also likely to pay back quickly. This is, and the third thing which I have priority
Please.
is the public grievances.
Uh-huh.
The customers who are coming to the banks and the customers who are accessing the bank services online, both have to be treated with dignity, respect, and the service they deserve. Now, I think some of you have your paper also highlighted. I think many of you know the customers who visit the bank profile is actually changed now. It is the senior citizens,
Yeah.
women, semi-literate. These are the kind of people who are actually visiting because they require. The urban, young, educated, middle class like all of us, many of us are actually no longer visiting the brick and mortar branches. But we also require service and we have a lot of questions. Sometimes the bank, the analytics, they may not be working. So the banks have to focus on redressal, one, if they have grievances, and providing world-class standards of service to the citizens who are coming to the bank branches. I have this, the standards have to be set by, I expect this had to be set by public sector banks. In fact, some of the bank branches I have seen are very good. In fact, outstanding services starting from the bank manager to the teller, to the bank, teller. But in some branches, I think everybody will not have same experience. Similarly, some the services in the bank apps are very good. They actually end-to-end services they provide. But some are not very good. I think we need to have uniform, higher standards of service delivery to the customers and also public grievance redressal. And the last, fourth one is cyber security. Now, this is very important. I think all of us are aware. We need to, the banks have to always one step ahead of the cyber security attackers, both from inside the country, outside the country. And therefore, they have to invest substantial amount of thinking, knowledge, and resources for warding off the cyber security threats.
Wonderful. I think, one of the things that I will take away and I'm quickly reminded of is your surprise visit to one of the bank branches. Just curious to know whether you, on your way to this function, did you do something similar in Bombay?
No, not that. Bombay, I actually expected Bombay to be much higher, superior standards of service.
Because that visit of yours, a sudden visit, really sort of made newspaper headlines. And I'm sure the bank concerned also must have pulled up their socks, not just the same bank, but many other banks.
In fact, the branch I have visited, first branch I visited, I think I advise you to visit now. The entire ambience setup of the bank is changed.
This is the Central Secretariat branch,
no, UCO Bank.
UCO Bank.
This is UCO Bank, and then of course SBI also there. But the UCO Bank, it looks like almost like if you enter into it, everything is digital services. UCO Bank.
Okay, wonderful. Let me turn to the question that everybody here is keen to hear, which is that there was a time when public sector banks were in for, rapid rounds of consolidation. And it seems that the pace of that consolidation has slowed a bit, and probably the government is having a second thought or not, I do not know. What's your worldview on public sector bank consolidation at a time when the big, banks from abroad are investing in many of the private sector banks. So taken all this together, how do you see the need for public sector bank consolidation, and what is the way forward? What is the roadmap like?
Thank you. I think the consolidation of public sector banks that were taken up in 1920, now I think all of us agree that they bore results. Now, I have actually taken a look at a couple of days ago. On all parameters, the projections for merger, consolidation, we fulfilled, except in one segment. Other than that, all other parameters, we have achieved our goals of consolidation. I think you can see either the Punjab National Bank, UBI, or Canara Bank, all of them actually performing very well. In fact, all the objectives have been fulfilled. Now, having said that, is there a case for further consolidation? Possibly, yes. And is the government thinking? See, government always keep thinking, because government, is unlike the general perception, government keeps getting large number of ideas from large number of sources. I think you have to give that credit to the government, where the highest echelons of the government keep getting the advice, suggestions, comments, all kinds of things. And we always keep thinking. And then there are large number of combinations, permutations for this exercise. It's not that while there is a case also, government always looks at pros and cons of the consolidation. Whether it will lead to the benefits of synergy or not, then again we need to lot of scenarios. We do that. But I think as and when the government finalizes the decision to further consolidate, I hope business standard will be the first to know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm sure we will keep that in mind. One more question which is related to this is the lack of new banks in the system. Now, we have seen some banks graduating into getting licenses, but we do see that not too many banks are actually even keen on getting licenses, in the sense that probably even though the banking coverage is not very good, it can increase several folds. What do you think we are not seeing more banks in the system? So what's your assessment?
My personal assessment is the goals of Viksit Bharat 2047, that we are a developed nation, our per capita income will be $18,000 to $22,000, and we become a 30 trillion economy, requires more banks. On that, I have no doubt in my mind. And we require larger banks, we require middle-sized banks, we also require smaller banks. On that, I don't think many of you have another opinion on that. Now, the on-tap policy of RBI, that has resulted only 2 licenses.
That's right.
In the last, almost 10 years. Now, having said that, you can read the signals, what I meant. So I think we need to have more banks.
That's right.
Our credit to non-financial sector, as a percentage to GDP, we are one of the lowest countries in the world.
Absolutely.
And countries like China, Japan, America, they are very, very high. Now, how do we achieve 100% financial inclusion unless you have more bank branches meeting the diverse needs of both people as well as firms? That's not possible. Now, some of the bigger banks today, they will be bigger, maybe at 10 years down the line. But we also require niche banks meeting the niche requirement of different segments of population. That would be specialized by the banks if they are working in this sector. They will find their own method of finding which is the best for their customers. So we require large number.
That's
So
right.
on that, I don't disagree with you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much for being so frank and forthright on this. Let me share, a private conversation I had with the Financial Services Secretary in his office. Not too many people asked this question to me, but he being Mr. Nagaraju, he asked me, what does the editorial director do? So I was in a bit of a flux of sorts. So I said, I work within the system and the editor runs the paper. So, the editor has told me today that the last 10 minutes of this session, probably I should ask you and seek your permission that given the fact that such a wonderful, set of bank CEOs are here, would you like to take a couple of questions from them and would you like to answer them?
I don't mind as long as it is not transmitted live.
Absolutely. So I think we will come to you, but I cannot just resist asking this question, that there was this attempt at streamlining public sector bank managers. A lot of steps have been taken. What's the government's view on streamlining public sector bank management system?
I think, see, when I said the public sector banks are performing today, that is actually as a result of the streamlined selection process of public sector banks. If you look at the leaders in all the public sector banks, all of them were selected on their own individual merit. Their performance in the past and then the way they are performing. I don't think any of the CEOs and MDs or chairmen of the banks can tell that we decide for them. In fact, some of them actually very good.
Yeah.
We had tougher calls to take to select whom. Okay, completely done, completely transparently done, and we have an external agency who gives us the assessment of the candidates, and based on that, the committee we have the FSIB, we recommend, and completely based on their professional excellence and record. And the good thing, I always believe, and I keep telling our MDs, that now that you came on a completely professional basis, it is your responsibility to ensure your successor also completely based on merit and competence. And you should put in place the leaders who become like general managers, CGMs and direct CGMs. These two segments are of highest caliber and competence. That's how we create strong pipeline. Actually, let me also tell you, large number of public sector banks private sector banks headed by the public sector guys.
Absolutely. I think this is the question that you...
That shows the levels of competence and integrity public sector executives bring to the sector.
Okay. Let me turn to the insurance sector, because you also look after the insurance sector in your position. Why do you think that insurance sector continues to remain an underpenetrated sector? I mean, compared to the potential, 3% coverage compared to the global average of 6%, we have a long way to... I mean, what's your worldview on insurance coverage?
I think my sense is there are some structural bottlenecks for penetration of insurance sector in the country. I think that was somehow tackled by the government by providing the PM Suraksha Bima Yojana and PM Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. We brought large number of people into the network. See, ultimately, whether people have some kind of insurance or not, that is important for us. We brought, I think, PM Jeevan Jyoti, PM Suraksha Yojana, 26 crore and 54 crore, something like that. Good number. But that will not flow, that savings will not flow for the national building, because our insurance is 2 lakhs only. That's not much. That's one. I think we need to bring large number of people. I no doubt at all, completely agree with you. You need to bring large number. The second thing is, the insurance companies somehow are always focused on the cities since the beginning. And then third is, I also think about our social structure in the villages and semi-urban areas, where in old age, parents are taken care by the children. That's how we lived for generations. We never look for that I will be without the safety network required, because children will take care, because we will take care of the children. That's how the Indian society grew. But that is now breaking down in the sense that because people are moving to the cities, there is more urbanization, and there is pressure on the children also to take care. Urban area penetration is okay, but rural areas it is still not there. I think there, for investment on that, insurance industry requires capital also.
That's right.
A lot of capital they require, additional capital they have to bring in to invest initial period. And then of course they can recoup with the profits. But additional capital, I think we know, whether you, one is the public sector companies, we are dominant players, we have large number. We could not put in additional capital. We are trying to keep our companies solvent and good, profit making. First time, I think you know,
that's right.
Last quarter, all public sector companies made profits, insurance companies. Like PSBs are showing the way, they are also showing the way. But
that's
we have
right.
a lot of accumulated losses in the past. They are on the mend, public sector companies. Private sector somehow are more digital oriented.
That's right.
Youngsters, middle class, digital, but they are not going into the rural areas, semi-urban areas. That's where we need. Therefore, some of the procedural reforms and legal reforms that are required.
That's right.
To give further boost to the insurance sector, the government is now contemplating.
That's right.
I hope when the government is finally takes a decision, that will, I firmly believe that it will further boost and ensure the insurance coverage, both the penetration as well as premium, will increase in the country.
Has the GST rationalization played out to the benefit of this penetration?
That was a great impetus for insurance industry. In fact, insurance industry is the one which has benefited the most, and that has led to increase in the premiums for most companies. Most companies. Yeah. And somehow people have come to know that there is insurance and it is required. This message has also gone to communities which are actually not thinking of buying insurance earlier or postponing buying of insurance. Now, large number of people actually are buying insurance, thanks to, in a sense, to the GST and the publicity we actually done through insurance industry. So I think that is paying dividends.
Okay.